Um, to go. Hello, everyone. My name is Karthik Jalamangala. I'm a product manager for the ASR 1000 product family. Also on the Q&A panel are my colleagues, Ching Lok, who's a product manager for ASR 1000, and also Jason Yang, who's a technical marketing engineer for the ASR 1000 product line. So today on the agenda, we want to touch upon one of the existing products that has additional refreshes. Talk about our next generation roadmap, including our next generation quantum flow processors, ASIC, and talk about the carrier grade NAT enhancements that we have done. Uh, so look forward to an engaging session. The Q&A panel is available for you to ask any questions. Uh, for those of you who do not know, the ASR 1000 family has been around for more than 10 plus years um, with quite a large deployment for service provider customers. We also play in the enterprise segment as well. So what the ASR 1000 has been known for is it's a compact, powerful router with business critical resiliency and instant on-service delivery with a wide range of services that you may be aware of. In terms of performance, we go all the way from 2.5 gig to 200 gig with both fixed form factor as well as modular form factor platforms. So one of the products that has been in the market for a while now is the Ethernet port adapter, which provides us with higher density 1 gig, 10 gig, 40 gig, and 100 gig ports uh, capability. So these plug into mainly our modular platforms, which are the 1006X, 9X, and the 1013. Also, one of the fixed form factor platforms, which is the 1002HX, also supports the Ethernet port adapters. One of the significant innovations that we have done recently is that all of our Ethernet port adapters now support MACsec. We also have introduced a second version of our 40 gig port adapter, which supports two 40 gig ports. In terms of the existing route processors, works well with the route processor second generation and the third generation, as well as the for the embedded services processors, it works with the ESP 100 and 200, and anything else that is coming up in the future. So next, I want to talk about the Procyon, which is the third generation quantum flow processor ASIC. So a lot of improvements have been done in the quantum flow processor ASIC. It is a multi-core architecture which supports up to 224 packet processing engines, each with 4 threads. So you get almost up to 900 threads. One of the fundamental design principles that we operated with when we worked on Procyon was, can we do better with our service performance? For years, customers had a feedback for us that when multiple services are turned on, then the performance of the router starts dropping. So we wanted to do inline services, especially crypto. And our goal was to support crypto at line rate, and that is something that we uh, made significant inroads. We are not at line rate, but we are significantly different from previous generations. In terms of memory resources, we have up to 32 gig of DDR4 resource memory. So what this means is that we can support billions of accesses now at a dramatic increase in feature scale. And there's a sufficient room for oversubscription buffers, which enables us to connect a lot more 100 gig ports, a lot more 10 gig ports than we could do in the past. Next, yeah, sorry. One more other thing that if you've been following the ASR 1000 product family, the previous generation ASIC was called as Yoda, the second generation. So between the second generation and the third generation QFP ASIC, if you were to do a side by side, these are some of the things that you can see. We did more than almost 3.5x on the number of cores. which results in almost nearly 4 times in the number of threads, dedicated crypto cores, more QoS queues, and the Ethernet subsystem, which allows for the over subscription. MaxSec is now fully integrated, higher memory. So as we were saying, this is definitely a significant leap forward in what we have always been doing. Uh, so uh, if you look at the ESPX, as we call it, the ESP 100X and 200X, they're the next generation of the ESPX platform. Uh, so this platform was designed for significantly improved IPsec performance and also better carrier grade NAT session scale. So in terms of the IMIX performance, on crypto, you can see that on ESP100X we did a 4x improvement compared to ESP100, and also a 3x improvement on the ESP200. We continue to focus on improving this performance for future releases, and this would be for both the traditional IPsec deployment as well as for the SD-WAN deployments. We also have done quite a few innovations on the NAT and CGN scale. As you can see, we have more than doubled the performance on the NAT and CGN for ESP100X, and also quadrupled NAT sessions on ESP200X, and more than doubled the CGN sessions on ESP200X. The session scale is again another area where we are innovating, and hopefully in a couple of releases from now, this product will be in much better shape. This product is going to, we are targeting, as I said, to be launched in June of 2019. So for some of you who've been tracking our ESPs for a long time now, this was a deeper dive that we did on our ESP capabilities. So definitely there is a lot of improvement that has been done, and we think that this is a new product that enables especially the crypto IPsec zone-based firewall deployments. So some additional guidance on the product, because it is going to be launched very soon. It's going to be, the FCS is being targeted tentatively for May 21st, though that date might move a bit by 2 or 3 weeks, but we expect it to be alterable at the start of Q4 FY19. I should be sending out an announcement in the next month. The platforms that are supported are going to be the ASR1006X, 1009X, and the ASR1013. The ASR1013 has been out there in the field for a while. So, but however, the ESP100X is the only platform that only ESP that is going to be supported. There's no support for ESP200X on ASR1013. We would recommend, if any of your customers have ASR1013, they should move to ASR1006X on 9X. In terms of the consumption models, so we are thinking of we are going to be launching it definitely in the perpetual model, similar to existing ESP 100 and 200, and also we will be launching in a future release the subscription-based model as well, where the ESPX is alterable via DNA advantage in the 3 and 5 year terms. The NTE prices, the ESP100X has an NTE of 70,000, though we expect it to be slightly higher than the ESP100 that is standing today. The ESP200X has an NTE of 95,000, though we at this point in time we anticipate it to be same or nearly the same as the existing ESP200. One of the other topics that I wanted to touch upon is our carrier grade NAT implementation, where we have done significant innovations in the recent years. So if you look at the ASR1K CGN implementation, the system was designed by default uh, to do a traditional NAT system, which is basically creating a session entry with full 5 tuple information. And so the CGN must be configured by the user to switch modes from a traditional NAT to a carrier grade NAT system. The CGN, the scaling is accomplished mainly because of, like, the limited information that is tracked. And when I say limited information, it is not tracking the destination information. Also, the default timeouts are different, which also helps with the scalability. It does support high availability intra and interbox, so that there is quick failover of the CGN sessions. And also, we can use CGN wherever you have a current NAT deployment. Uh, in terms of high-speed logging, the ASR1K supports high-speed logging of all NAT translations or only translation for specific VPNs. And also, the NAT logging can be exported to an external device in the NetFlow V9 format. So while we don't have a live CGN demo for the ESP200X for this conversation, I did put in a few screenshots that one of our engineers had put together. So before I go to that, here's a view of how the uh, NAT happens on the ASR1K. So you have if I look on the right on the system view, you have uh, the route processor doing the CLI provisioning, whereas the forwarding processor, the ESPs, having the TCAM for the NAT ACL and route map classification, and also on the QFP DRAM, we would store the NAT translation table. So this is heavily a data plane activity. So uh, we would basically on the software side do the CLI provisioning in the iOS, and then we would mostly work with the data path inside the ESP. So that's why you would see this kind of a dotted line. So that's where a lot of the activity is happening, and the ESP innovation has helped the CGN scale as well. In terms of, like, the demo that I had talked about, we started with, like, a clean slate with no translations and no ports assigned over here, the UDP and TCP high-low ports. And then what we did is, like, we started the scaling session of the sessions. As you can see, the sessions have started scaling over here. Um, uh, and then the number of ports keeps increasing uh, over here as they're getting allocated. Uh, and eventually, the ports, you can see that the CGN session scale has reached almost the 50 million session scale over here. So that's a bit about the CGN. Please let us know on the Q&A panel as well if you have any questions. The The last topic is that I wanted to talk about is the feature roadmap. So we have been working on NAT, especially NAT and CGN, for multiple releases now. So these are some of the features that we have done a lot of innovation for quite a while now, and we are just finalizing now on the iOS 17.1 release, and we'll be next working on the 17.2 release, and these are some of the features that we are planning on over there. So those were the topics that I had. Uh, so I think at this point in time, we are open for any questions. Please let me know if you have anything that you wanted to bring up over here.
Thank you, Karthik. At this time, we will unmute your phone line individually if you have a question. To let us know if you have a question, please use the raise your hand feature found at the bottom of the participants panel. Once you raise your hand, I will unmute your phone line. Or you can feel free to continue to type in your questions into the Q&A panel.
Tim, there is one more question which is not answered in the Q&A panel about broadband aggregation scalability numbers. Do you want to take this verbally?
Yeah, I would leave those two questions to Cheng Cheng. He's our broadband PM. Cheng Cheng, if you can address. Jim Wicks is asking that first, if there's a plan to support ISG, BNG on the new hardwares, and do we also have a broadband aggregation scale question as well?
Yeah, sorry, I was actually speaking on mute. In terms of broadband, first of all, the feature parity will be there, so all this new platform will have the same feature parity with existing AS1K product families. Now, in terms of scalability for broadband, first of all, ESP100X and the ESP200X that Karthik just presented will have the same broadband scalability as existing ESP100 and ESP200 respectively. That is number one. Number two, for the new fixed platform, the Green Day or the Raman, the broadband scalability would be the same. So for the Green Day, which is 100 gig throughput, will be the same as the existing AS102HX. The Raman, which is the 60 gig throughput, 1RU, will have the same broadband scale as the existing AS1001HX. So that's basically the ballpark. So we're not looking into increasing the scalability with these new platforms. For the ACE, it's still early to decide, so we do not have a target number yet for this new platform in terms of broadband scalability. But the goal, of course, is going to be at least exceeding the existing maximum supported broadband session, which is 128,000 sessions, PPOE sessions, of course, without QoS or with policing only QoS. So that is the ballpark. And it may go up then 128,000 sessions, but it's still too early to say.
All right. Thank you. Team, any more questions? You can raise your hands if you want, using the raise the hand button. All right. Looks like this is it. As usual, we will post the content on Sales Connect 5 to 7 business days from today, and you will see there. If you have any questions about the upcoming BT sessions, feel free to drop me a message or find me on Jabber. Thank you once again for coming, team, and for sharing this presentation with us. And attendees, don't forget to vote. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. Have a good rest of your day or evening. Bye.
Thank you.